Yo, what's up, y'all? We out here. It is a bright, sunny morning, and I'm here in what is fast becoming one of my favorite places to be. Just out here in the yard, feeding the grass, just enjoying nature while doing a little studying. And in my reading this morning, a couple things kind of come together. So I'll start with talking about one of the summer classes that I've been taking, one of the 4 summer classes I've been taking, trying to graduate. 3 weeks, baby, let's go. But that class is Survey the Old Testament. What's interesting about this class is it's one of the ones I should have taken from the very beginning of being here in the seminary, not right before I graduate. It's a survey class. It's just a general overview of the Old Testament. And somehow I forgot to take it. And somehow I got away with not taking it because it is a prereq for some other courses. I will take that. But anyhow, I'm down here to the end taking it and going through the lessons over the last couple weeks, reading through this book, just getting this kind of background, culture, context of these different books. And one of the things I like about it is just how it shows the historical place of these books within like bigger history, not just biblical storyline and narrative. But when it came to the book of Lamentations, obviously by the name, that's something that I felt like I could resonate with, given what's been going on with my family, my mom, and those struggles personally, and kind of the questioning of my own mental health. And so I said, you know what? It's been a while since I've actually read through the Bible in my devotional experience, and I want to try to bring that back in. Lamentations felt like a great place to do it. So today I was reading through chapter 3, and the last couple of days, it's weird, even though some of the book, at least beginning here, is kind of depressing because of the situation that I've been going through personally. I'm vibing with it, and there is a comfort of knowing and being able to read that people during this time went through these same kind of feelings. And they talk about the nothingness and all that stuff is a part of Lamentations as well. So I feel that, but I'm reading through the beginning of chapter 3, and I get down about 15, 16 verses in, and I'm like, yeah, I resonate with that. And then I think, man, that's kind of like that really sucks for someone to feel that and to have to go through that. And I wasn't really thinking about it in the sense of myself in that moment, but the individual who wrote it. Maybe Jeremiah, there's some debate on that, but this isn't the time for that. But anyhow, I'm getting down to those verses, and I'm like, man, it seems like there's no hope. It seems like a really painful experience that this person is describing. So many ways of talking about how they're getting beat down and everything's working against them, and their affliction is coming up, and they feel like God's forgotten them. And I'm like, yeah, I resonate with that. And then I get to verse 19 and 20, and I'll just read through. It says, I remember my affliction and my wandering, the bitterness and the gall. I well remember them, and my soul is downcast within me. If there were a couple verses that I think really summed up how I would express my feelings over the last several weeks and maybe even years to a degree, it would be those 2 verses. But I didn't expect what came in verse 21. And I'll read the next several verses here. Yet this I call to my mind, therefore I have hope. I'm like, what? Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. I say to myself, the Lord is my portion, therefore I will wait for him. The Lord is good to those whose hope is in him, to those who seek him, to the one who seeks him. It is good to wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. It is good for a man to bear the yoke while he is young. And I was like, well, dang, for all of the feeling and emotion that I was experiencing in this, to be hit with that contrast there was definitely something that I needed to hear. There's so many good reminders in these few verses, like, it is a tough time, and it can feel like there's no hope sometimes, but there are things that I can recall and things that I can remember that will remind me that I do have reasons to hope, and that I do have reasons to keep being patient and waiting on God. His compassions never fail. They are new every morning. And I think about this in not just like a theoretical sense, because I don't do that, but in a very practical sense. If I wasn't out here in the mornings trying to have this experience with God, I wouldn't know that God's mercies are new every morning, because I wouldn't find it. But in my experience right now, because I'm looking for it, I'm able to find it. And so this text, it doesn't just become something that sounds good, but it becomes something that I'm able to live to a degree. And that's like, wow, that means something. Great is God's faithfulness. That's something we can be reminded of every morning if we're looking for it. And then these parts with the patience here, the hard part, right? I was talking about the cycle last night. The Lord is my portion, therefore I will wait for him. Patience is the hardest thing that's like the last virtue on people's minds when you're going through a hard time. We always want things to be done quickly. We always want things to hurt less. We always want them to not hurt as much. But the word says that the Lord is good to those whose hope is in him, to the one who seeks him, and it is good to wait quietly. To wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. And it's good to bear that yoke while you're young. I'll have to see more like where they're going with that. My guess is kind of based on, there's another verse that talks about if you train up a child in the way he should go, when he gets old, he doesn't forget it, something like that. So it seems like that's the vibe that comes to mind when I hear that verse. It's good to bear the yoke while you're young, because if you can develop that confidence in God and that patience in God when you're young, it'll be a benefit to you as you get older. And maybe that's something that I'm still needing to work on. I think clearly it's something I still need to work on. But there is hope. And it's okay to wait. It's okay to feel like everything is going against you and that nothing is going your way. Some of the authors of the Bible felt the exact same way. So there's nothing wrong with feeling like that. There's nothing wrong with feeling like you're not sensing God in your experience and that you don't know if he's real. There's nothing wrong with that. They're writing about this. But at the same time, there are reminders and things that we can do. And there's places where we can be that God can show himself to us. And if we take advantage of that and have faith and if we're patient, I think he will. So that was pretty cool for this morning. And again, I'm not saying that because magically now that I saw this, everything's going to get better. And the cycle that my mom and the family that I go through because of all this stuff with the mental health, it's all of a sudden going to end. I'm not saying any of that, but I am saying that my perspective is changing a little bit on what my mentality should be going through the experience, and that it's a good thing that there can still be hope. I can still have hope despite a time that oftentimes seems hopeless. So hopefully that can be an encouragement to you. It's been an encouragement to me this morning, and I'm looking forward to see what other interesting things and unexpected things will come out of this book of Lamentations. So yeah, catch you in the next one. Peace.